All right, here we are. Episode 544 of the podcast. I'm your host, RJ. Let's get right into it because I'm going to try to make this quick, although, we say that every time.
Welcome to BD4, an RJ Carbone podcast. BD4, where there is no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. We also do MMA. Yanks every series, Knicks every game, MMA on occasion. BD4 is a 5-star show on Apple Podcasts, also available in video format on YouTube and Spotify. So thanks for stopping by, and we hope you enjoy the show.
Champion of the world, turning, looking, see ya!
Anthony for three, bang! That one goes down, and the game is tied!
Penetrates, creates, and showing some dexterity as well with the left hand.
Yankees win!
All right, what's up? What's happening? Episode 544 of the podcast. I'm your host, RJ. Welcome to BD4. We're getting right into it. We're talking about the Tampa series and little thoughts on the deadline, and that'll be that. We're going to try to wrap this up with under a half hour. We'll see. Yanks lose 2 out of 3 to the Tampa Bay Rays this week. The first game of the series, they lost 5-1. This was the not Domingo Germán game. It was Johnny Brito facing Tyler Glasnow instead. We'll talk more on that thing later. Excuse me. But top of the first inning, one of the loud guys hits a home run off Brito to make it 2-0. Bottom of the second, the Yankees score one off the Jake Bauers solo home run. Makes it 2-1. Top of the third comes Wander Franco. Hits a home run. He had 2 this series. Off of a hanging curveball that Brito left up. And he puts it 3-1 Tampa. Top of the fourth inning, Paredes hits a home run. Lau gets his second home run, or maybe it was another Lau, I don't remember, Low. It makes it 5-1, and then I think both of those pitches were off like middle two-seamers from Brito. He's 4 innings, he went 5 runs, 6 hits, 4 home runs, no walks, 4 strikeouts in the loss. He was terrible. I don't know why we insist on bringing him up as the first guy all the time when somebody goes down or whatever the situation is. I'm not that impressed with him, and I haven't been for a little bit now. I feel like Randy Vasquez has earned that right. And I would rather see, honestly, if anybody, one of our top prospects, like a Will Warren or maybe a Clayton Beeter, get a shot. I know they're not killing it down there, but Beeter's got a nice curveball. Warren got promoted this season to AAA. But Brito gets called up before the game to replace, well, I guess on the roster, Ron Marinaccio, who was demoted, rightly so. He has been very bad this year. And it's probably why they used Ron so much in that Sunday loss, because they knew he was going down for at least 10 days. And again, more on the whole Brito thing later and all that drama, because we found out more information. But yeah, Germán comes in after that, and he goes 5 scoreless. The bats don't do a damn thing, and the Yankees lose 5-1. That was Monday's game. The second game of the series on Tuesday, the Yankees ended up losing 5-2. So progress. This was trade deadline day where the Yankees did absolutely zero. And you could see it was a great message to send to a struggling team. You could just tell by the way they responded in this game. Rodon versus Eflin, top of the second. The Rays on the board first, of course. Ground rule double by Margot off of Rodon to make it 1-0. Top of the third, the game was over nice and early, which was good. That's where I turned the radio off. Carlos Rodon surrenders a pair of jacks to, it was Diaz and a Rosarina, excuse me, to put the Yankees in a 4-0 hole. He was done after 4 innings. Top of the 5th, Ian Hamilton came in. He didn't have it. Gives up the RBI base hit for the 5-0 deficit. And then bottom of the 9th, the Yanks do the thing where they fake rally. Glaber doubles in Harrison Bader. Rizzo singles, LeMahieu singles, and Torres to make it 5-2. And then with second and third and 2 outs, Stanton is up as the tying run. And what does he do? Correct. Fairbanks goes fastball, slider, fastball, fastball, elevates a few of them, and the game's over there. So 2 runs on 7 hits, no walks, 3 for 6 in scoring position. You know, I'm a big hits guy. People who know me know that I'm a fan of hitting in volume, and I love batting average and on-base percentage, but also because of batting average. But a lot of the time, I'll also look at the number of walks you draw in a game. Not all the time is it an indicator, but sometimes that tells me how hard you're working. It tells me you're working the count. I'm not like that simpleton Aaron Boone, where I look at pitch count, right? And I ignore 18 strikeouts, but look at the 2 other good at-bats. Because a strikeout pitcher is going to have a high pitch count. So that says nothing sometimes about your at-bats. But I like looking at walks, since it can sometimes tell me that guys are seeing pitches. They're trying to get a feel for the guy on the mound. They're making him work and generating traffic on the bases for the middle of the order. And so the fact that the Yankees had 0 walks in a Major League Baseball game is just, it's astonishing to me. And it says everything about who this team is. This game did. You know, just lazy, lethargic, weak, feeble at-bats, Frank the Tank reference there, on a nightly basis. And yeah, I mean, the hits, 7. Deceiving, though, because they had 2 hits for most of the night. They entered the 9th inning with 3 total hits, and then they had their little fake rally in the bottom of the 9th. So it was even worse than it looked on paper. But a lot of the time, I like looking at the amount of walks you can draw, because it tells me the Yankees are working the count or not working the count. In this game, Carlos Rodon, 4 innings pitched, 4 runs on 4 hits, couple of homers, 4 walks, 1 wild pitch, 5 strikeouts, 97 pitches total, and the loss. I don't know, man. I'm going to give him the season, see how he does, and hope that he finds a rhythm, God forbid. But this guy he's a laboring machine. It way too much now has reminded me of Frankie Montas when he made his debut for the Yankees last season after his injury problems. And Frankie Montas, when he labored, he reminded me of a guy named Sonny Gray. I don't know. I don't get good vibes when I watch Carlos Rodon pitch. I think this guy, I don't want to use the word yet, but I hope he's not washed. And if he is, how amazingly incredible would that be? I mean, we went into the season having questions for sure. We knew the possibility of some of these guys not being the same was there. I mean, you compile a roster where some of your best hitters are aging players who don't hit for average and don't stay healthy. It's a question. And that alone is enough for Cashman to get canned. Let's be completely frank. But not a single one of us thought that all of Anthony Rizzo, Giancarlo Stanton, DJ LeMahieu, Luis Severino, and Carlos Rodon would be totally 100% useless. So there's still a bit of a shock factor we're trying to get used to here. His velocity was down a little bit in this game. A lot of 94-mile-an-hour fastballs. Usually you'll see him around 96, 97. I think I saw some 93 in there. And that 2-pitch mix that we talk about. I mentioned it last episode. It's something that concerns me a bit. What if that fastball goes? You know, he's got nothing. You can't sell to me that this fastball slider only shit's going to work long term. I don't see it I don't see the sustainability. So between that, the laboring, the chronic back problem that we got to at least have in the back of our minds, which that's never a good thing. Yeah, I mean, I'm at least allowed to have the idea in my head that an elite Carlos Rodon might not be what we get these next 6 years. And man, if that's the case, it's just one more reason. That's one more reason Cashman's got to go. He gave this guy a 6-year deal worth, what was it, $162 million or something like that. I don't care who liked it at the time. He's the GM. He did it. And it's his responsibility to reap both the benefits and detriments of this deal. And it's not off to a great start. He missed half a season, comes back, and he's been, at best, a mixed bag so far. The bullpen, Hamilton, Abreu, Ramirez won 5 innings, 1 run. Hamilton got the 5th and 6th. Abreu the 7th. Ramirez the 8th and 9th. And that was it for the second game of the series. The third game, last night, Wednesday, the Yankees win 5-2. They won. Or 7, was it 7-2 or something like that? I think it was 7-2. Let me check. I don't know. They won 7-2, yeah. Cole pitched for the Yankees. They won on Cole Day. He went up against... Nope, here we are. Cole versus McClanahan in Game 3, where the Yanks win 7-2. Top of the first didn't look promising. Cole gives up 2, a couple walks and a homer in between. A Wander Franco in between Byron. Jesus fucking Christ. A couple of walks and a homer in between by Wander Franco. Franco took this one, I think it was to the third deck. But it was funny because Nelson's keys to the game was on Yes Network was to limit walks and home runs. And the first 2 batters did exactly that. Makes it 2-0 Rays. Cole ends up going 7 after that. He looked phenomenal, allows no runs the rest of the way. Bottom of the third, the Yankees drop 5 runs. They wake up. Harrison Bader doubles. Volpe takes an outside pitch to right field for home run number 14. And then after a couple singles from Glaber and IKF, Stanton lines his home run, number 15 on the season. Makes it 5-2 Yankees. McClanahan goes 4. Some guy Ramirez for them gets the next 2 innings. And the 5th and 6th, there's a lot of good defense played in the middle part of this game. Top of the 5th, some great Yankee defense when Margot slaps a base hit to left field, and it's IKF fields it off 1 hop. Margot tries to go 2. And then Falefa makes an excellent throw to second base to get the assist. He actually had 2 assists in this game. I think in the second inning he threw a runner down as well. Threw a runner out as well. Bottom of the 5th, the Rays. He had Wander Franco coming up, on a ball a little bit in the infield, a shortstop off a broken back ground ball. Makes the out at first to get the speedy Giancarlo Stanton. Do you remember when Giancarlo Stanton first got to the Yankees? He had some kind of athleticism. Like he was an automatic out on a ground ball. Anyways, I'm just it's crazy how far that seems. Harrison Bader makes a sliding catch out in left center in the 6th inning. So there was some good defense. But the Yankees cracked 2 more on the board in the bottom of the 7th when Kelly comes in to pitch for Tampa Bay. Yeah, the IKF walk, Glaber singles to shortstop, and then Stanton is up with first and third, 2 outs versus Kelly. And he punches a 1-2 4-seamer, 2-strike approach to right field for his 4th RBI of the game. Makes it 6-2. And then you get the double steal between Greg Allen and Torres. That scores Glaber Torres off the error there, and it's 7-2 Yankees. Greg Allen was pinch running for Giancarlo. In the 8th and 9th inning, you had Clay Holmes and Tommy Kahnle lock it down. 2 innings, no runs, 5 strikeouts. And the Yankees win this 7-2. Yeah. 7 runs on 13 hits, 4 extra base hits, a walk, 6 strikeouts, 4 for 8 in scoring position. Volpe and Torres, 3 hits. Volpe, a home run, 2 RBIs, a stolen base, also a caught stealing in this game. Torres, a double and a stolen base. Stanton, 2 hits, home run, 4 RBIs. Again, Stanton was pinch ran for late in the game, which allowed the Yankees to execute that double steal. IKF, he was on base twice, 2 assists in this game, played some right field later on. It was nice to see the lineup just produce some runs on a lot of hits, do it with power, but also some small ball, some good base running. And it's nice to hit around a decent pitcher for a change, right? McClanahan, 4 innings, 4 runs, 82 pitches. They worked some very deep counts on him, made him work, and they hit the ball hard. He's a guy who entered this game 11-1 with a 3.00 ERA. So they made him work. And Gerrit Cole, on the other hand, went 7 innings, 2 runs as the opposition. So we'll talk about Gerrit Cole when we return from break. Stay with us here on BD4, episode 544 of the show.
We appreciate you sticking around and listening so far. When you have a chance, be sure to open YouTube to subscribe, like, and comment. And if you're already watching on YouTube, be sure to head over to Apple Podcasts and give us a 5-star review. We appreciate your feedback and are always looking to improve. Now, with that all said, let's get you back to the show.
Welcome back to the show, episode 544. We're tipping our caps early in this one. We're going to tip our cap to Gerrit Cole as the best starting pitcher on the mound this series for the Yankees. 7 innings, 2 runs, 8 strikeouts, couple of walks, 4 hits, a home run, 3 singles, 91 pitches, 63 strikes, and most importantly, got the win in Game 3 against the Rays. Yeah, he was great. 10-2 now on the season with a 2.64 ERA. He's the Cy Young frontrunner as we speak. He's got a 1.71 ERA in his last 4 starts. He's been worth every penny. I say it often. The guy goes out there every single start. He's durable. He grinds. He's dominant. He wins. He shows up in October. He holds himself accountable. He is a warrior. He's a winner. He's a winner, and he deserves to be a champion. It's a shame he's one of the only likable players on this team. And it's a shame that, Judge has an MVP year last year. Cole's having a Cy Young year this year, and we're still probably not going to get a championship out of either of these seasons. He's been so good for them. He's been so consistent this season, and this is what we expected when we got Gerrit Cole. He was pulled with 91 pitches after 7. Could say it's a little early. I wanted him to go back out for the 8th at least. But you take it. Plus, he did go 110 last time out, so you have to think that was what it was. Just Boone trying to save bullets. And I get that. But one thing I'm noticing is a little bit of chemistry between Cole and Ben Rortvedt. They haven't worked together this season much, but in his last 2 starts, he's worked with them. And both times, Gerrit Cole has gone 7. In these outings, Cole, his pitch mix seems to be a lot more diverse. In this game, it was much similar to like it was when he went 7 innings last time out with Rortvedt. 33 4-seam, 20 slider, 20 cutter, 14 curve, and 4 changeup. It's much more even. You're seeing that Rortvedt is, getting him to mix in the cutter a lot more. He kind of goes through these stretches Cole does where he ditches it. He did that a lot last year, where he'll just barely use it. But with Ben Rortvedt, Cole has gone back to the cutter as one of his primary, off speed, and it's worked effectively. I mean, he throws that thing at 93, 94 anyway. But yeah, I think Ben Rortvedt's trying to mix it up more with him, and we're getting some good results. So keep this tandem going. I think the Yankees, I wouldn't be shocked if next time out for Gerrit Cole, Ben Rortvedt catches him, regardless of if there's a righty or lefty on the mound for the opposing team. Anyways, the Yankees now 8-0 when Cole pitches after a loss. Overall, they are 16-7 on nights where he pitches. And again, at the beginning of the season, I said I want the Yankees to play 700 ball on Gerrit Cole days. And that's exactly what 16-7 is. So good for him. That's his 13th time receiving a cap tip. Leads the Yankees in that category, so that's pretty impressive. And while we're handing out awards, let's tip our caps to Anthony Volpe. Volpe had a good series. 4 for 10 this series. A home run, couple RBIs, a stolen base in there. 7 total bases, a run scored in a 1.100 OPS. Excuse me. He seems to be going to right field again. You know, he's doing that a lot more lately. He's been doing that ever since he closed off his batting stance. The results have just been up and down. But you're seeing him, you saw last night where he's taking that outside pitch exactly where it's supposed to go. This needs to be where he lives. Make this your home if you're Anthony Volpe. This is where he's going to make a living if he can be consistent. This is the kind of approach that could make Volpe into a high on-base guy. He already walks a decent amount, but if he stays clean with his approach, he stops chasing the curveballs, which that's going to come with experience. It's a rookie thing. And if he just stops trying to pull every pitch, he can be a batting average guy. And Lord knows we need more of those guys. He could be a good leadoff hitter for this team, because we know that's the end goal here. The Yankees they want to bat him leadoff, but the consistency just haven't been. The results have just not been consistent enough. But yeah, this is what we want to see. It's got to be consistent. He's got to make this his home, or he stays off closed and keeps that opposite field, center field approach. But it's his 5th time receiving a cap tip, so that's cool. And, you know, I want to add one thing here, just because I read an article from WFAN yesterday saying everything I've been thinking about, and I don't know that I've mentioned it yet, but I really think this is true. And while it's sickening that this is even a thing, I think the only reason the Yankees, or at least a big reason the Yankees, gave Volpe this very long leash and are hell-bent on him sticking up here all year and playing shortstop no matter what, is because of marketing. Like, I think marketing is a big part of it. The Yankees are, you know, they're capitalist pigs, quote unquote. Like, they want the money. The whole Italian thing, the whole Jeter thing, kid from New Jersey, shortstop for the Yankees, #1 prospect. Like, it's so easy to market that shit in New York City. He is and will continue to make money for them. Revenue, jersey sales, the chicken parm night they just had now with all that shit, it's over. Like, it's all marketing from here on. Like, there's no doubt in my mind that this is not only about player development and Anthony Volpe. It's money. Like, there's more to it. Both you and I know how Hal operates. The Yankees are a corporate business to Hal Steinbrenner, and that's all they're. That's all they are. Like, I definitely think there's truth to Anthony Volpe being up here because of marketing, because he's a very marketable guy. He's a kid who's very marketable. There's a lot of truth to that. I'll just end it there. I'm glad I came across that article because it kind of validated my thoughts on that. But yeah, Volpe's been playing well lately. And then last but not least, we're giving out our tip of the cap. We're tipping our caps to Domingo Germán out of the bullpen. Yeah, so we'll talk about it. It was a nice parting gift on Monday, right? His last outing of the year. And I'm going to say, as a Yankee too, I just think between everything that's gone on, all the things over the years, plus now, and I believe he's in a walk year. I think it's over for him here. So if you didn't hear, again, before the game, it was announced by the Yankees that Domingo Germán checked himself into a rehab center for a drinking problem. Apparently, there was another incident. I don't know what's going on. There's definitely something we don't know. And I think it definitely has something to do, regardless of what Cashman says, with the whole fiasco Monday night. So Monday night, Johnny Brito gets the late start because Domingo Germán was scratched last minute with physical issues and armpit pain. The whole thing was weird to begin with, especially when you saw Domingo Germán then later warming up in the bullpen during this game. And then he comes in and he pitches 5 scoreless innings the rest of the way. After the game, Boone's bullshit exclamation was that Germán was cleared in the 5 p.m. hour, threw off the mound around 6 p.m., and he said he wasn't in consideration to start because of how close it was to game time. But it makes you laugh because it's like, oh, okay, he can't start, but he can throw 5 innings, 72 pitches in relief. Got it. I mean, if you're pitching around 6 p.m., you're ready. Most starting pitchers don't get ready until a half hour, 45 minutes before the game. The game began, I think this was a 7:05 start. So what I thought happened was that maybe they had a trade set up, and a lot of other people floated this idea around, including Domingo Germán, and it probably just fell through. That was the only logical explanation at the time. But again, I also wouldn't be shocked if the Yankees it was just them mishandling injury again, because that's what they're best at. Maybe it was trying to showcase Johnny Brito, and they were attempting to trade him. But with this now coming into the picture, this latest news about the program he's checked into and the incident that happened, I think there's definitely something to do with that. They probably found out about this incident. I don't know. Like, there's obviously something missing that they aren't sharing with us. But I don't want to dive too deep into this because it's not really our business, and it's over. And hey, Domingo Germán, thank you for pitching for this team, and I'll tip my cap to you one final time as a Yankee, and you were a solid pitcher for the Yankees over the years, and that's his 8th time this season actually getting a cap tip. So he's pitched well for them, and we'll end that there. When we return, we're going to talk a little about the trade deadline on Tuesday, where the Yankees did basically nothing. So let's talk about that when we return from episode 544 here. When we return to episode 544 of BD4. Stay with us. Be right back.
You can also find us on social media. If you'd like, you can follow BD4 on Facebook, and we're at BD4Pod on both Instagram and Twitter. We appreciate you helping us grow more and more every day. Let's get back to it.
Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, RJ Carbone, episode 544 of the podcast. The Yankees dropped 2-3 to the Tampa Bay Rays. But on Tuesday, 6 p.m., trade deadline, and the Yankees do nothing. They neither bought or sold. They stood pat and stayed the course. The team that had about 17 different left fielders last season and has upgraded to less guys out there this season, but now infielders playing left field this year. That team stayed the course, and they did not do a damn thing to upgrade or retool their team. The team that had Josh Donaldson clearly show he was washed up last season at third base, come into this season, get injured a few times, and clearly continued to show that he's been washed up. They not did a single thing to upgrade third base. Nothing. You couldn't even find a body to occupy left field so we could at least say, hey, we have a left fielder and not 8.5 guys out there, because that's what this is. I mean, you didn't want to buy because you didn't like the targets available. Well, then maybe don't wait until last second all the time to do something. Maybe call up these mediocre-ass clubs before they go on an 8-game win streak the week of the deadline. You didn't want to sell? Why? You have an entire half a roster full of guys in their walk season. You're bringing every single one of them back? Really? Yeah? Every single one of those guys is returning next year. You're telling me that? Listen, the initial offer that Cashman had in that Torres deal to Miami, the second time. I get it. Ridiculous. And even I was being a little crazy saying take 2 of those prospects away and go for just Miller and Cabrera. Even then, that's probably a little too steep. I'll admit that. But to tell me that, well, Gleyber Torres is nothing special, and my goodness, Yankees fans, he's not. But to tell me you couldn't get one single thing for a 25-year-old contact-hitting middle infielder with power and team control for one more year, that is psychotic to me. It really is psychotic. With some of the other names that have been dealt over the past few deadlines, you tell me Gleyber Torres couldn't net you something? How about Wandy Peralta? Consistent veteran lefty reliever? No contender wants that? That's a hot commodity in today's game. Shit, I want Clay Holmes back, but Clay Holmes couldn't net you something? 30-year-old versatile right-handed reliever with a high-velocity sinker and a slider with some great movement. Like, I saw something incredible on Twitter yesterday. Just very unsettling. And it said, since Hal Steinbrenner, who's had a lot of infamous quotes in recent years, as have the entire Yankee brass, since he said, we're not done yet in the last offseason, the Yankees have acquired Willie Calhoun, Billy McKinney, Cole Calhoun, Nick Ramirez, Greg Allen, Franchi Cordero, and now Spencer Howard and Kenyon Middleton, who are the 2 guys they got in the trade. One guy is already in AAA. The other guy is here. Essentially replacing Jimmy Cordero. How embarrassing is that, though? That one's pretty embarrassing. Like, not even a casual Yankees fan will know a single one of those guys, right? Like, the diehard will know them because he's a diehard. He knows every second of every game. Watches every second of every game. But not even like a casual, I watch the Yankees. I'll see a game or 2 a series or whatever, a few a week. Like, not even those guys will name a single one. They'll not know a single one of the guys I just listed. Like, you can go around asking other baseball fans if you wanted, who are those guys? And at least half or probably more would not know them. That is a literal list of minor league journeymen, not good enough to be in Major League Baseball, but they were picked up off the scrap heap by the Yankees since their general manager is obsessed with luxury tax, team control, and finding diamond in the rough bats. Of all the reports and comments that came out after the Tuesday deadline that were pathetic, the most disturbing one to me was the report that said, and I'm paraphrasing here, how other executives were basically getting very annoyed with Cashman's arrogance, trying to ask for so much with such little from his rentals. Like, this guy is obsessed with ripoffs. I don't know if it's an ego thing. It probably is. He loves getting the win in a deal instead of just looking for help. He has to be the lone winner in a trade. You had the Torres shit, maybe even Herman too. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that's what it was with Domingo. And by the way, for how shitty they treat Oswald Peraza, he's still here, by the way. You at least thought it was only because they planned on trading him. Right? That's why he was kept down there, etc. He's still here. And who is to say they didn't try moving him, but this GM was probably asking for fucking Mike Trout. And you know what? You come out of this deadline. I'm trying, I don't respect. I hate the Mets and I hate the Astros. But you kind of got to respect a little bit what they did. Like, 2 teams who I don't like. I hate them. I hate their fans and their stupid players. Like, Cohen of the Mets said, hey, look, we fucked up, so let's fix it. And immediately this week, he moves Scherzer to Texas. And then Verlander back to Houston. They're going to mow us down this weekend. For 2 of their best prospects they get in return. They admitted their mistake. Something Cashman and the Yankees will never do. They realized this wasn't the team to do it. And so with that, they chose their path. And they attempt to progress their organization with a sell-off of their 2 Hall of Fame pitchers. So at least they chose a direction to go in. And the Astros, shit, man. I respect them because they keep getting to the World Series and winning the World Series But they don't stop. They don't stop trying. They're not content. They don't win one or get to one and then think it's good enough and let's just relax. Because the Yankees get to a fucking playoff round and they see that as a win because it's a crapshoot to them. Right? They're selling seats and they're getting in to the dance. That's all that matters to the Yankees. No, the Astros won the title and they answered that with firing their GM, acquiring Jose Abreu, and they just got Verlander back despite their team being just a half game out of first place. That is hunger. That is determination. That's going for the kill. It's what the Yankees used to be like, but not under Hal. Sell tickets, sell chicken, sell jerseys, and collect revenue. Get into the dance every year, and we're good. That's how it works with this new age Yankees. We'll be right back here on the show, episode 544 of the podcast.
If you have time in the day or maybe just prefer old-fashioned reading over listening, then you can always follow along and subscribe to BD4 Blog by going to BD4blog.com. We're not on there as often, but when we do post, it's just as entertaining, opinionated, and passionate as we are on this podcast. Thank you so much. And let's keep on with the show.
Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, RJ Carbone, episode 544 of BD4. Yesterday I listened to, on my way to work, Jomboy, or I watched it on YouTube actually before I left for work. And then like the final 10 minutes after the interview was over, I listened to it. But Jomboy's interview with Boone yesterday was fabulous. I don't know if this organization, if it's like blind faith or delusion or just maybe Boone is being held under gunpoint off camera, but this man is strong set on thinking that this Yankees team is already in the World Series. Get what I'm saying? Like, he thinks they're already there. He's probably got tickets all set up for his family and friends and everybody in his life. Like, just shoot the shit. How many 80-win teams go on to win the World Series? How many 80-something win teams in the history of Major League Baseball have won the World Series? I can think of one in recent years, and that was the Atlanta Braves. But outside of that, you don't get many of that, man. What, the Yankees in, what was it, 03 or something? Or 99? I don't know. Like, it's got to be less than 10. And listen to that. Watch. Don't listen, because the YouTube edit, you get to see the mannerisms, the expressions on each of their faces. They went at him. And I advise any diehard Yankees fan to check out the entire interview on the YouTube channel of Talkin Yanks. They went at him. They interview Boone every week on the show, every Tuesday. But yesterday, because after the trade deadline, they interviewed him on Wednesday. This was by far my favorite one. Because sometimes I get on them for being a little too soft, but I felt bad for calling them soft when I watched this interview yesterday. They went hard. Jomboy went at him about how incredible he thinks it is that they believe they're a good team. He said that to his face, and that pissed Boone off. Boone started just like throwing insults like, "Oh, you're being passive aggressive," and Jake went at him about the whole Judge thing. Boone yelled at his ass, and Jake was silent for a good 15 minutes after that. But it was great that he went at him for that, and there were just so many good moments from that, and it told me one thing: like, this guy is just like that. Like, he may be a puppet, but this is actually him talking. He's not a plant. He actually believes in everything he says and does very, very much. He actually thinks this shit. I can tell. This is his personality. I get you're not supposed to sit here and talk about how shit your team is, but there's not a single ounce of urgency or a single ounce of, oh shit, we probably got to get our shit together in this guy's blood. Watch that interview and you will know what I'm talking about. They did an excellent job. We'll be right back here on the show. We're going to talk about maybe one or two more things before we wrap this up. Stay with us. Be right back.
Studio 69 Productions is a production company that allows content creators of all genres to market their podcast or whatever project they're working on. It's an online platform that will promote your content, no problem. All you have to do is get in touch with film director and podcast producer Leo Rodriguez from Say No More Podcast, and you're good to go. You can find him on Instagram at Studio69NJ, Studio 69 Productions, where dreams are heard and born.
All right, welcome back to the show. Welcome back to episode 544 of BD4. I'm your host, RJ Carbone. So, to wrap this up, again, the Yanks dropped 2 of 3 this series at home against the Tampa Bay Rays. They win the final game, but last night, even with the Yankees win, Toronto won. So they still remain, the Yankees, an entire 3.5 back from the last wildcard spot. They're 1 behind Boston, who's right in front of them, 3.5 from Toronto, and then 5.5 from Houston, who currently hold the second wildcard spot. And Houston comes to town for 4 games, starting tonight, going to Sunday night, in a massive series that maybe determines the Yankees season. And I mean, listen, I said at the top of this 10-game stretch against Baltimore, Tampa, and Houston that this team needs to take at least 7 or 8 games to really sell me again that they can hang with the best. Well, they're already just 2-4. So the only way I'll leave this weekend feeling more confident about their playoff chances is if they take 3. A split is not going to do shit for me. 3 would be nice, and a sweep is just a goddamn dream at this point. But I'm telling you right now, that's not happening. But I don't know. I don't see any of that happening. Like, they could get swept or take 1, and I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest. The Yankees are 56-52, man. They're 56-52. This is a team that won almost 100 games last year. They have to go 44-10 to do that now. That's 8-15 ball. They have to go 34-20 to win just 90 games, which is probably what's going to get them into the dance. That's 630 ball. That's, if anything, the best case scenario here for the Yankees. But it still means it's time to get hot and not slow down. They got to do this right now. I guess I shouldn't be too stunned, but I can't believe it's actually come to fruition where they're playing to their floor. Because go back to previous episodes, I mentioned this a ton throughout many parts of this season, where I said the Yankees' ceiling in the regular season this year is a team who wins 100 games and takes the division. That's the very best you'll get from this team. I said that happens if they stay healthy and Judge is healthy and guys contribute around Judge like they have in the past. But I also said that their floor was 80-something wins, 3rd place in the division, and barely making the postseason. And I said that happens if they're unhealthy, certain guys look washed and unproductive, etc. And that's exactly, precisely what we're getting right now. So again, I shouldn't be too shocked because I semi-predicted it. But it still stuns you as you sit here and see it live action. It's funny because I saw a tweet or I guess I saw an X, that's what it is now, saying that if the Yankees do find it in the final 2 months of the season and they end up winning it all, is it like an I told you so moment, or is it a luck situation? First of all, I don't ever believe in luck as a factor for a team winning a championship. Any team who wins a championship will instantly get my respect. They have earned the respect of not having it be called luck by some bitter fans. But if it's going to happen, the only way it happens is if these guys that I believe are finished, unfinish themselves and start hitting. And by these guys, I mean, again, Giancarlo, Anthony Rizzo, hell, DJ LeMahieu even. Though he has hit since the All-Star break, he's over 290 with an 800 OPS. But the only way for this team to have a fighter's chance is for those guys to start hitting like they used to hit, and for guys like Rodon to pitch like the guy we signed him to pitch like, a 1B to Gerrit Cole, for Luis Severino to not be giving up 9 runs every time he pitches, for, the bullpen to find their footing again, which I think they will. I It's a lot has to go right, man. And I don't. You know, we're still sitting here talking about whether or not the Yankees can make the playoffs. That says a lot to me. So that's it. We're gonna wrap this up with our question of the day, and then that'll be that. Let's get to it right now. All right. So for this episode 544, in honor of Thurman Munson, who's, who passed away. I don't know what day, but I know what day it was. He passed away on August 2nd. I don't know how many years ago, but it was yesterday, the anniversary of his death. So in honor of Thurman Munson, this trivia has to do with him. True or false? Thurman Munson's career highs in hits, RBIs, triples, and home runs all came in 4 different seasons. Is that true or false? Thurman Munson's career highs in hits, RBIs, triples, and home runs all came in 4 different seasons. So let me know the answer wherever you can reach me. If you get the answer correct, I'll give you a shout out in the next episode. One final time, true or false, Thurman Munson's career highs in hits, RBIs, triples, and home runs all came in 4 different seasons. Hey, we won about 50 minutes in this one after saying we're going to try to limit it to under a half hour. So that's what we do here. All right. I appreciate you all stopping by episode 544 in the books. I'm your host, RJ. Thanks for tuning in to BD4, and I'll see you in the next episode. This team still sucks, but hey, at least they grabbed a win. Later. This episode was brought to you by Anchor.
Hey there! If you stayed the entire way through, we thank you immensely for it. We hope you enjoyed this podcast and that you come back for the next episode real soon. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, download these episodes, and share them with your friends as well. BD4 is a 5-star podcast simply because of you, and we'd like to keep it that way. Have a wonderful day. Go Yankees, and go Knicks!